Hello, it's CraftyRia again. Today we're going to be, of course, recycling some Christmas cards, but we're going to do it in a different style. We're going to make an easel card like this with some Christmas cards. This card, if you can see, it's hard to see there, it does stand up by itself. It folds flat and it fits in a regular envelope. And it only uses a half a sheet of cardstock to make, just like your regular cards. And it'll stand up on your desk just like that. I'll kind of hold it up a little bit for you to see. The sentiment is on the back, so when it's standing up, you can see it on the back, and you can also sign it on the back if you'd like. So let's get started. I picked out 2 Christmas cards to make easel cards with today. What I like to have is for them to measure, to be able to be cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which is your standard card size, and have it be in a portrait view up and down. The back of the inside should be blank, so no writing on this part, because as you can see with this card, you will be seeing part of the actual inside of the card. So I picked out 2 of these, and we'll go ahead and get started, and I'll show you how we make them. So I'm going to start off with an 8 1/2 by 11 sheet of regular white cardstock. I get this cardstock at Walmart in the office supply section. It is not fancy scrapbooking cardstock. It's just regular office supply. It's inexpensive, and I use this for most of my card bases. So we're going to cut this in half the long way. Normally when I fold and make cards, I cut it this way, but today we're going to be cutting it on the long way. Some people call it the hot dog way. If you cut it this way, we call it the hamburger way. This is the hot dog way. So it is 8 1/2 inches wide, so I'm going to cut it at 4 1/4, which would be right down the middle of that. And I'm going to line it up on my paper trimmer at 4 1/4, and I'm going to cut. So I have 2 long strips of cardstock. And I'm going to get my scoring board. You can use a ruler and a scoring tool. You don't have to have a fancy scoring board. I happen to have one, so I'll go ahead and use it. And we're going to score in just 2 places. The first one will be at the typical halfway point, so we could fold it in half, which would be at 5 1/2. Because it's 11 inches long, so the halfway point is at 5 1/2. So I'm going to make a score line right at 5 1/2 inches. And then we're going to score this side in half. So half of 5 1/2 is 2 3/4. So we're going to score it at 2 3/4, and we're going to score it in 5 1/2. No more scores over here. So we have those 2 scores. I'll do one more card, one more half. So 5 1/2 would be the halfway mark. So it folds in half evenly. And then so this piece folds in half. We're going to score it at 2 3/4. If you don't have something to score with, you can always fold your paper in half. So I scored it this way, so I'm going to turn it over, and then I'm going to fold it in half on that first score mark. So you would have kind of just a big V. And then I'm going to fold this piece in. So if you didn't have a scoring board, you could always just fold that one right over to the fold. It's just in half. So then you have like a little triangle. And that's going to be the base of your easel card. just like that. So I'll do the other one. I scored it on this side, so I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to fold the mountain part of that score in. And I'm going to open it up, and then I'm going to fold this in. Like I said, it is possible to score and to fold without a scoring board. It's just your scores come out a little bit more clean if you use it. I'm going to set one of them aside and just have the other one handy. And I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to decorate these yet, but I have a few ideas. So the front of the card is still going to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I can cut this exactly to 4 1/4 or 5 1/2, or I can cut it a little bit smaller and have a little bit of matting or open space around it. I'm going to start by cutting it to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 and see where we get with that. See how we like it. So first of all, I do have to cut that fold off. Just to get rid of the back of the card. And then let's see how much, where we're at. I would have to take a little bit off each side. I'm going to cut it right to the edge of his hat and see how far, because that is not quite 4 1/4. It's a little bigger than 4 1/4 still, so we're good. So I can take away some of that blank edge, and I'm going to keep that because we might use that. I'm not sure. And then if I were to line this up to 4 1/4, I want to see how much of this other edge I'd be cutting off. Not much at all, like barely a sliver. I was serious when I said barely a sliver. I did pretty good on that. So I'm going to line this up at 5 1/2, and if I cut it at 5 1/2, it's going to cut off a little bit of that pom-pom. We have a little bit of empty space down at the bottom, so I'm going to take a sliver off of that first. And then I will measure it to 5 1/2. That way it keeps his pom-pom intact. So then that's the image that we come to. I'm going to keep that piece as well. We have this piece here, and I can go ahead and adhere him to the bottom, to this front piece. It's the only part that I want to adhere him to. I don't want to glue him to anything else because I want him to stand up nice and free. And I think I'm going to keep it like that. I'm not going to trim it anymore. So in order to do that, I'm going to put my tape just on this piece here, this folded piece in the front. That's the only thing that's going to get adhesive. And I'm just going to put it on all 4 edges of that. I'm going to open it up just to get that back piece out of the way, and I'm going to just stick this down on here, lining up the bottom corners as best I can. I can always trim it in my big paper trimmer if I need to. I have to be really careful because once I set this down, this glue is pretty sticky. Okay, not bad. It's not lined perfectly at the top, but since he folds up, you're not going to be able to see that. There, so we have this little snowman, and he's kind of standing up, and he's really, really cute. Now we have to decide what to do with this bottom half. We have about half of this to work with, depending on how tall you want him to stand up. If you want him to stand up taller, you can have more of this to work with. I was thinking of using this kind of as a as a blockade. You're going to need something to hold the card in place. I have some other pieces of cardstock that I got out. This is it's hard to see, but it has, I don't know if you can see, a little bit of glitter. Not very much glitter, but it is white with glitter. I could leave that white and just put this strip wherever I want it. And then leave this piece white with some decorations on it. So let me see what else I have for decorations. I have my bling box. And on the other card I used a strip of this. So I could put a strip of this there as well. I think I also have blue. I have that blue. And I'm thinking for these cards, this larger bling would be good. I have the colorful bling. Maybe put this down at the bottom. And put a strip of this. This I got on clearance. I don't know, they might have been 5 or 10 cents a package from Pat Catan's. And that is just a gorgeous strip of blue. I can get it off of the backing. I think I can cut it because I don't think I need that whole piece there. That is so pretty, but I don't know that I want that whole piece there. Maybe I will use a couple, maybe a strip of 3. Let me cut this. I'm going to try to cut a strip of 3 off of here. I've never tried to do anything with this. Yeah, this will cut. Okay, good. I'm not really doing it on camera. There we go. Cut it the other way now. I haven't used this before. This is first time. So what if I put the strip of 3 kind of about halfway? I can put this down at the bottom because then that'll tie in the card. And then maybe these words, the snow days, in the middle. Okay, let's get rid of this piece of cardstock. And I don't know, I might want him a little more than halfway. Because it does look like snow. Or I could even just cut a piece of this white so it's a little glisteny on the bottom. All right. So I will cut this piece of white cardstock. Move some of my stuff out of the way. And the width of my card is 4 1/4. So I'm just going to cut a piece that's 4 1/4. And I will cut a piece that is about half, maybe a little bigger than half, maybe 3 inches. Because I can always make it smaller. Okay. So we have a piece that measures 4 1/2 by 3, or 4 1/4 by 3. And I could put this down here just to give it a base. Give it a little bit of a snow base. So I will adhere that to the bottom of the card. And move that so it's out of the way. And I'm just going to do what I did before and line this up with the bottom. There we go. Now that alone should be enough to hold it, but I like to have a little bit of oomph there. So I'm going to go ahead and put that bling on there. Fold that out of the way. I've never used this bling, so we'll see how it works. I hope it all stays together. Yes, it does. Okay, good. That's pretty awesome. And I'm going to try to line it up carefully with the top of this piece, just so it's straight. There. And that has enough of a lip on it where it will hold it. You can use a button or any type of embellishment, but I happen to like the bling. So then I have this strip, which I think looks really good because it matches the top, the sky. And I kind of like this that says Snow Days because it has some of the same colors that he has, or she. I thought I would put that kind of in the middle. And I think I might leave this. I'm wondering if I want to put a strip of that blue at the bottom to kind of tie it together. Let me get that out. Yeah. Maybe just two, one or two, down at this bottom. I think I'm just going to cut one. Turn it around and see if I can cut it the other way. If you hold my tongue just right, it'll cut. It's a little harder to work with than the bling from the Dollar Tree, but it's not bad. It's a perfect color for this. See if I can get the backing off. Then I will put that right there. Again, I will use my tape runner. Fold him down out of the way and just adhere this. I'm just going to line it up right with the bling. Then I have this Snow Days, which I will put here. I'm just going to lightly set it there. Just want to make sure I have it centered pretty good. And then push it down. There we go. I think that's pretty cool. I'll kind of hold it up for you so you can see it a little bit better. Kind of neat. And now I want to embellish the front a little bit. And again, you can see it will fold flat. As long as you don't put anything thick right above where you have those, you can put some embellishments up here if you wanted. I might want to use one of these that kind of just goes with the theme. I think I will just put that up there. And then I will call this done because it has plenty of embellishments, although I do want to put the sentiment on the inside, which is this, and I will put that on the back here. You could also put it on the bottom. It's up to you. All right, I will cut out this sentiment. I'm going to try to keep those red snowflakes intact. I'm not sure if it's going to be too big, so we will try it with them first. I'm going to put it on the back here. There's not a whole lot of room for matting, but I could mat it on something just very slim, or just leave it on there white, which I might just do because there's not really a lot of room. I hardly ever do that, but I'm going to do it in this case. Okay, so here we go. There's our card, and it's a normal A2 size card. It'll fold up like that. You can keep it on your desk, on your shelf, on your mantle, whatever. And then the signatures would be here. You can sign it at the bottom, you can sign it up here, however you want. But there we go. There's number 2. I might want to actually put a snowflake there. Maybe that one, or maybe one of these little blingy ones. Just to add a little bit of bling at the bottom. This is my last white and blue one. There. Just to add a little oomph down there. Okay. All right, that one is done. And let's do one more. Here's the other card base that I made, same as before. And I have this card, and I think I'm going to do it pretty much the same. I'm going to go ahead and cut it so it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm going to use this Happy Celebrating as my sentiment for the bottom. So I want to be careful how I cut that out. I'm going to cut this as close as I can to that fold. And then I'm going to cut the bottom just on the other side of that Happy Celebrating sentiment. Just into that blue, I think. Like right at the edge. The dark blue. And then I'm going to cut it off on this side. There. So we have Happy Celebrating will be for the bottom of the card. I will set that aside and hope I don't lose it. So then I want to make the top of the card be 5 1/2. And it's going to leave my edge a little bit curved. I'm trying to think. I thought I measured it before. Oh yes, because I'm going to cut it in. So that's okay. That'll work. Never mind. Don't listen to my musings here. I'm going to cut that to the 5 1/2. I'm going to save that little piece just in case. Because when I cut it in, it'll take those curves off. So then I want to make this be by 4 1/4, and I need to cut a little bit off of each edge. There's not a lot of room on this edge. So I'm going to kind of cut pretty close to his arm. Her arm maybe, she's wearing pink. I shouldn't be gender biased. And then see where I get with 4 1/4 on this side. That's about as close as I can go on that side. And let's match it up to be exactly 4 1/4. Yep, there we go, it is 4 1/4. So then we do get the squared corners at the top. I knew I measured it before, and I was beginning to second guess my own measurements. This card is so cute. I absolutely love it. And this is probably a little wider than that 4 1/4, but I will trim it once I get it on. Once I tape it on there, I will get my big trimmer out and trim it so there's no white edge. And then that's kind of what it's going to look like standing up, which is really, really cute. So I will start by adhering it to this front. Again, you want to adhere it to this front piece only. I'm going to get that back out of the way. Got my tape over a little bit too far. There we go. And I'm going to align it with just one of the edges because it is a little bit too big, and I will trim the other edge off. So I'm going to align it with that left edge and with the bottom. And as you can see, there's some white here. So I'm going to get my big cutter. Got my big cutter. I'm going to fold this in half, and I'm just going to trim off that white edge. Okay, I trimmed off that edge. It ended up being fine, and then there we go. Now I have to decide what I want to do to hold this up. I have this piece here, which will go on there somewhere on the bottom with this darker glitter. I kind of like that. Because it kind of looks like snow on the ground. I might go with that. All right. So I'm going to cut this to 4 1/4 wide. Actually, this might be smaller than 4 1/4 now. No, it is right about 4 1/4. I must have cut it a little bit bigger. And just like the other card, I'm going to cut it at about 3. Check and make sure I don't have to trim this down at all. I'm going to fold that up out of the way. Before I adhere it down, I want to double check and see what I want to put on here to match, to hold that up. If I want to use some bling or ribbon or what else I want to put on here. I'm just going to kind of lay it down so you can see it and I can see it. I have this pink. There's a lot of pink in those cute little snowmen. There's red and green, which I don't like, but oh, what about this? I have that multicolor. Oh, I like it because it's got the purple and red, and it's got all the colors that are in those snowmen. Okay, I think I'll go with the multicolor. And I think I'll do a strip at the top and a strip at the bottom, and then I have this, but there's still going to need to be something to kind of take up some room in there. I do have this wonderful box of ribbons that I love. I have that blue. Oh, I have that, which is a silver. And I have this white that looks like snow. I'm pretending it looks like snow. I also have that. Let me see. I don't think the silver, because that's already silvery, but what if I bring some white to this? Especially because the Happy Celebrating has white letters. Let's see if I can open this. I wonder if I put this word right over the white ribbon. That might be kind of pretty. All right, let's go with this. So I'm going to have it like that, kind of right about there. Yeah, okay. So I want to decide where I'm going to put my ribbon. Probably right about there. Cut that. I think right there would be really good. I'm going to go ahead and put some adhesive down on this, just so I could get that ribbon on there. Make sure I have it the right way. And as always, when I put it on the back, I start on the cardstock and run it all the way to the end of the ribbon. This way I have a double layer of adhesive when it folds back over onto itself. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and, before I put any more thicknesses on here, I'm going to go ahead and put the tape on the back. I always put a little extra over that ribbon just so it holds itself down really well. Line it up with the bottom of this card. There we go. Push that down really good. There we go. And that's going to go right on there. I think that's going to be great. Okay. Get that out of the way. I'm going to put some of these gems across the top, and maybe not exactly lined with it, just a little bit kind of to the inside, just so there's a little border on that edge. And I'm going to put a row across the bottom to even it out. I got this bling, I think, at the Dollar Tree or maybe from Wish. I can't remember. Or AliExpress when I got my little ones. I think I ordered this one big sheet. It was a huge sheet. I think I'm going to need to get more of this because it's so pretty. All right, so that's how it's going to sit, whoops, like that, up against there. Very cool. And then we're going to have this happy celebrating right there. And I don't know if I want to cut it and have some of that ribbon show. Yeah, I think I will. I'm just going to eyeball it here and just cut it. Actually, I cut it there and there. See how that looks? I thought I would do a little bit of a little trim in. Oh, these scissors aren't the best for this. To make it look like a little flag. I'm going to get my other scissors. These have a finer tip. These are my little cutter bees. There we go. I'm going to clean up this little edge over here too because I kind of made a mess of that. There. Okay. So it kind of looks like a little flag there. And I'm going to take some glue, a little bit of art glitter glue, and put it on the back of this. So it'll adhere down into that ribbon. This is art glitter glue. It's just a thin white glue, and it dries clear, and it is really nice and sticky. And it dries pretty fast. Now let me look at my stickers and see if I can put anything in there to take up some of that room. And see if I want to put anything up at the top as well. I'm thinking I'm going to put 2 of these silver snowflakes up at the top. It wants to like naturally go that way. So I'm going to get rid of this stuff. That won't come up now without being goofy. So that's going to have to stay there. I'm going to need to do something different. Okay, I found these in my stash, and I bet these will be tall enough to block it. So I have this one with this pink, and I will put it kind of right there, and that will be tall enough to block it. And then I could put just a couple other ones there like they were meant to be. There we go. And I think the colors still look really good, and that will be tall enough to hold the card up. I was having such a hard time with this. There we go. Yay, I figured it out finally. And I'm going to cut this sentiment out of the back, and I will add it to the back of this card. I'm going to not put that Happy Holidays down at the bottom. I'm just going to use that top part. I never thought I was going to get this card to work. Okay. And there is still enough room on the back of this to mat it on something. Okay, so the card stands like this, so I want it to be like that on that piece. All right. Sorry about all of that craziness. I'm probably going to edit out a lot of my blooperisms. Okay, so here we go. We have this one, which stands up like that, and it's still not very bulky to mail, although in this case it is. These pieces of candy are a little bit, they're 2 thicknesses of foam tape, so I would probably use this for something that I'm going to send in a package or something that I will deliver by hand, since it is a little bit thick. But this one is not thick at all, and that will go in the mail just fine, and he seems to stay up just right. I don't know why this one was giving me fits. But there we go. We made those 2 cards today. And here's the original one that I showed you. I just threw it together a few minutes before the video just to see if I could do it, because I haven't made one of these before. This is brand new for me. So I really hope you enjoyed, and I hope this inspires you to do something a little bit different, make a card that's a little bit differently shaped, and to recycle some of your Christmas cards. Thanks again for joining me. If you like what you see, please give me a thumbs up. Please leave me a comment below and click that subscribe button, because there'll be plenty more videos coming your way and you don't want to miss any of them. You guys take care, and you know what to do. Go get crafting. Bye-bye.